Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. This is Ustream TV, and this is a YouTube special, a little snippet of what we do on Ustream. And what we're not doing on Ustream at the moment is dancing with joy about some of the television companies, the way they are behaving. We'll talk about GB News, which we all love. Anyone with the right mind will absolutely love. And you don't need a right mind, you just need a correct mind for it. But we're talking about the greatest hits radio, for one thing, and Talk TV, who've refused still. We've written, phoned, sent letters. Why will you not accept our money to advertise on your channel? Well, we don't want to advertise on their channel because their ratings are going like that, and ours are going up like this because you people are taking a chance and signing up for Ustream. Now, I don't want to sound like Russell Brand and say, oh, look, I speak up for the people, please send me 50 quid. No, you are signing up for Jethro, Freddie Starr, Chubby Brown, lots and lots, and 3 live shows a week, so don't you start fretting about that. So let's talk about TV shows. Last night, I did GB News. I was asked to go on. Actually, I was driving up there because I had to go in London to meet somebody, and I said, I'll come in the studio and do it. Great. So I got up to where I was staying in the club, and a phone call. I'm afraid Dan Wootton has been suspended. Why? Because of Laurence Fox. Oh, and so who's standing in? Mark Dolan. Well, anyone with him? Didn't he have sisters? The Dolan sisters? No, he's a nice guy, a comedian. I met him once. He's much taller than you think. Because when you see people on the television, they're only that big, aren't they? It's quite a shock when you actually see them. So anyway, I felt like telling the producer, you've done what? Oh, Dan Wootton has been suspended. Well, you can shove your TV programme in your bottom. But I thought, no, I've got to be professional. I've been signed to do the job. Dan didn't sign me. I love Dan. I always will. Right, let's just get that out the way now, okay? I've signed for GB News, and so GB News, I went and did it last night, and I was told not to mention the elephant in the room. No, not Diane Abbott. This was the fact that I shouldn't have talked about Dan Wootton being suspended. So let's just talk about it now then, shall I? I've had Vicky on. Don't you say this, don't you say that. Well, let's just take a second to speak about Laurence Fox. Now, I don't know Laurence Fox. I've met him a couple of times and said hello. Another tall one. And but I've never watched his programme. I've missed it. I haven't sort of just not watched it. But I don't know what he does. He's a bit of a right winger, I believe. I wonder if he's part of the Fox family. Is he part of those famous actors, the Fox family? God knows. Robert Fox, he played it. I never wanted to be king, you know, Wallace. Yes. Anyway, so he apparently said about some bird, I won't mention her name because in fact, she's running around now making as much as possible out of this situation. She's been on absolutely everything. But if she's got the that is up to her. I think she antagonised Laurence Fox. I don't want to be king, you know, Wallace. By talking about men's suicide as if it wasn't quite as important as he deemed it to be. But, you know, Laurence, I think you missed a chance there to debate with that woman properly. And apparently you said it's not someone you want to shag or something like that. I'm not going to get into specifics because I hope there's a thorough inquiry done about it. I don't think it's that bad. It certainly doesn't warrant. I felt physically sick when he said that. Oh, get a life. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. You look quite nice to me. I don't know what's up with that, Laurence. I would. Anyway, so let's just look at it. So GB News have said it's unacceptable what you said. We apologise. We don't want Ofcom climbing up our asses. And of course, poor Danny, what thingy, who? Well, that's show business, Dan. Here today, gone tomorrow. Dan Wootton, when he said that remark, just went, oh, he didn't laugh as if to say, oh, that's funny, I agree. In my opinion, he laughed for the shock of it all, saying, oh my God, you can't say that. And was in a really, really unwinnable situation. And now he's been put into suspended animation while they do an inquiry about it. Well, I hope the inquiry is very swift and we want Dan back on the telly again. Should we get him on Ustream? If only we could afford someone like that. They have to put up with old has-beens like me here. But so let's just see the real problem. Now, if you think that a bloke, it wasn't a very nice thing to say, and Laurence, you should know better really. You know the parameters, what the parameters are when you're working contracted to a company, and you could bring them into disrepute. I can go on there and say what I want. I'm just a gobby guest. But It's what is happening now is the tragedy, ladies and gentlemen, and people from YouTube world, is that all the other TV stations now are calling for blood. Oh, we knew it. Let's shut them down. Let's get rid of Dan Wootton. Let's get rid of, I never wanted to be king, you know, Wally. Let's get rid of him as well. And close GB News. You know, do you know what it is? Because GB News is so big now. GB News is so popular. All the other ones have got little piddly ratings. All them other little shitty TV, you know, programs like, you know, Talk TV. All those lefty ones. Oh, no, this is a good enough excuse. Close them down. Even the MP, Caroline Noakes. Now, I know Caroline Noakes. She's a lovely woman, but she's wokey-nokey. And she's saying GB News should be shut down. Until while this inquiry is done. What for? Because you tell a woman you don't want to take her to bed? Caroline, get a life. Stop it. You're better than this. You're bigger than this. And this is just an excuse for people to shut GB News down. And they're not going to get away with it. We're not going to let them get away with it, are we, ladies and gentlemen? It is crazy. All the various people. Who's that bloke on Talk TV? What's his name? He used to do Scott. They were all there. They're all gobbing off. They are all gobbing off. I've got his name down here somewhere. I've got to do it. So here we go. Who is gobbing off? Oh, can't find anybody. Right. So what we're going to do about that? We've got to just keep our fingers crossed that the people at GB News, who we love, Britain's favourite news channel, without a doubt, by miles, can not be put under pressure by all these other people. And all you Talk TVs and all you other BBCs and all you other wokey lefty arseholes. Well, we can't have this. This is misogyny. This is sexism. You're the same wokey left people that allow males, men, if you can say that, to strip off in women's changing rooms, right? You're the wokey left ones that allow male rapists to identify as a woman and spend their time in a woman's prison. Well, get a life. If you want to protect women, you need to really, really look at doing it properly and not stop someone on the television commentating that he wouldn't want to take that woman to bed. Oh dear, you lefties. You allow Eddie Izzard to identify as a comedian. I mean, there is nothing really worse than that. And there is worse things going on. Now, just have a look at what is going on now. 15-year-old girl stabbed to death with a zombie knife in the morning on a bus. Mayor Khan, what are you doing? Were you too busy nailing up another ULEZ camera or whatever it's called? Shame on you. And you know, why is all this going on? Why is it going on? I'm going to talk about this on Ustream because if I talk about it on here, I'll be banned from everywhere as well. Don't you worry about that. But I run Ustream and it's down to me what I say. And it's up to you people if you want to watch it or not. Now, before we go, I'm not a great lover of petitions. And so you sign this petition, I never know what it does. But the government have this thing, they have petitions, UK Gov petitions. And my mate contacted me, the Meerkat, that's his nickname, the Meerkat. And he's put a petition together of which you could get on this. So I'm going to put it on now, on the little crawlery thing, and then when I finish talking about it, and see if you can help out here. We need, and I agree with this, we need to get 20,000 petitions before you can get to the signatures, before you can get to the next bit. And it's about banks. And this is not for rich people, this is for rich and poor. Everyone needs a bank. There's going to be no money one day. Everyone's going to have to do the type it and float it, all stripe down and put the code in, all deep joy. And so if the banks now can suddenly close you down without any excuse at all. What this petition is for the government to say to the banks, now listen here, if you're going to close someone down, you need to give them notice. And you need to give them a reason why you are closing them down. And they've got to have an independent and free access to appeal. They've got to be able to say, no, hang on a minute, I want to appeal against this because what you're accusing me of is not correct. And that is not happening. It should be a government law now. And if you agree with me that the banks can not just willy-nilly shut you off, then sign this petition. And here it is again. Go to this. Okay, well done. Now, just before we go over to Ustream, I want to give a little plug to Kevoy Keane's mob. Jonglers Comedy Club, our little brothers there in this brilliant comedy setup. They're at the Odeon at Camden. They're actually appearing in the Odeon tonight, live, and it's at 6 o'clock, the Odeon in Camden. So get along there and have a good old laugh. Right, I'm going to go over to Ustream now, and I'm going to moan like fuck. On this week's episode of Proper Comedians, Jim Davidson, Bobby Devereaux, Ricky Lane, and Jimmy Jones. Proper comedy, proper laughs, proper comedians. New episodes streaming this Friday only on Ustream.